In today's video, I'm going to show you how to patch a hole in your wall. It's really simple, really easy, but here's what we're really testing today. There was a brand that reached out to me and they said, hey, we have this cool little tool that you could hold up to any surface and find out what color it is. You can color match any color. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to put this thing to the test and see if we can get a good color match on this wall for the color that's there now. It's dirty and faded, but we're going to clean it up first. So now that the wall is dry, we can sync up the app and the Nix Mini Color Sensor so we can find out what color this is and get to the store and get our paint. I won't spend a lot of time reviewing the app, but I did find that it was very easy to connect the sensor to the app. I just held it next to the phone, it connected, and then I was able to scan right away. And it took, you can see here, it took just a matter of moments for the colors to come up. And this is what it told me. So it showed me the color that it scanned, and then it gave me some excellent matches and some good matches. And I know for a fact 4 years ago when I painted the basement, I used a Benjamin Moore, but I couldn't remember the color, the name. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, Revere Pewter, that's it, that's it. And so one of the things I did like that the app did was it showed me what some of the complementary colors and, you know, if you want to do some color schemes. I was not so much interested in this feature today, but, you know, if you're someone that doesn't do very well with choosing colors, you know, hey, you could actually use the app for that. But what I wanted was to color match. And so I went through and decided, you know what, I don't want to use a Benjamin Moore. I do want to use a different brand of paint. So I chose something called Sculptor Clay. To patch the hole in the wall, I just used a simple patch from the home improvement store. I spread the spackle on the back, got it nice and covered, and then put it on the wall so that it would stick. Now you have to make sure that you put enough spackle to cover the patch. You don't want any of the holes to be visible, but just cover it as best as you can, making sure that you fan it out at the edges. And I did use the putty knife that came with the kit, but then I switched to a larger one because it was easier to spread and get it nice and smooth. So now that the wall is dry, we can go ahead and try to sand it with 150 grit sandpaper. Make sure you have a mask because you do not want to be breathing that stuff in. We have patched the hole and now we're just going to have to wait until it dries to see if it is actually a good match. It looks like it will be, and I'm going to try to do a little bit of touch up in different spots and we'll come back and see if those actually look pretty good too. So the big question is was our paint color a good choice? Well, I can actually see that there are some light spots, so it wasn't an exact color match, and I believe I may have gotten a different finish, which is not cool. But it's been so long since I painted this wall, I couldn't even remember what kind of finish it was. But you can see some light spots here, but I do have to tell you, it's much better than coming down here and seeing a big hole in the wall. You know, that was very embarrassing when people would come over to the house. So overall, I think it's a pretty good match, but we'll probably need to paint this wall over again. And honestly, that's okay because the wall was in need of paint, but just keep that in mind. Sometimes you may not get an exact match, but it'll be pretty darn close. So take a look because I did some other things around the house to show you how cool the Nix Mini Color Sensor is and how you can use it. So check it out. So a couple months ago, I framed this really beautiful piece of fabric in a frame. And so I wanted to test the sensor to see if I could get some exact color matches for the colors that are in this piece of fabric. Because I think when I redo my bedroom, I want to pull in some of these colors and I don't want to have to go hunting for the names of all these colors. So I was able to do the turquoise, the greens, the blues, the whites, and I developed this little color palette in just a matter of like 5 minutes. So I thought that was a really cool way to use the sensor, and there's all the colors. The final test with the color sensor was in my foyer. Now the paint is Sherwin Williams sea salt, which I repainted several months ago. However, likely due to the fading of the paint color, it didn't quite match directly to sea salt. I actually had to scroll down to the good section, and then that's when I was able to find sea salt. So what are my final thoughts about the Nix Mini Color Sensor? Well, if you're trying to get a 100% accurate match on an existing paint color, I think you have to keep these variables in mind. The first thing is that there are over, I believe, 17 different paint libraries in the app. So if you know that you started with, say, Benjamin Moore on your wall, you might want to stick with Benjamin Moore so that you'll be able to stay within that library. When you switch libraries like I did, you may not get an exact color match. So just keep that in mind. Also, over time, paint tends to fade due to the sun. You know, there's dirt on the wall if you're not cleaning it. So if you want to get a really good reading, make sure that you clean your wall. Make sure you understand that it could be faded, so it's going to match from what's scanned and not necessarily what you know is on your wall. And I do like that it has a neck strap. And I like that it gave me lots of different color combinations that I can use based on what I scan. So I thought it was great. Overall, I think the scanner is awesome. I'm really glad to have it a part of my DIY toolkit now, and I think you'll love it too. So if you enjoyed this tutorial and review, please give it a thumbs up and go back to my blog, Thrift Diving, to subscribe, and I will see you next project.